hanging tree here, and I'm going to revenge my brother with this. So you guys. So, I'm going to ask him to shoot and not tell me that I'm recording. So, if you guys want to see him shooting at me, then you guys can watch them. I'm going to be holding you guys like this, so you guys can see it, and if you guys still see my screen, that's fine. Because I'm moving you guys to try to shoot, because you guys are in class. I am not.
Whoa! That felt really cool, and it made me want to break my arm or something to be in here.
Yeah, you could shoot.
So this video
Shoot.
took a lot longer to get that because I've been
but you're using your computer as a deterrent.
Now it's pretty much I'm not sick anymore, but I am whispering.
Open the door.
I bet no.
Open the door. Darn it. Guys, I'm just gonna sit right here.
This video isn't just for your entertainment.
Hey,
it's good
just coming in.
me clearing my conscience and finally being free from these chains of guilt. Also, don't get your hopes up. None of these stories involve murder. Sorry, I didn't kill anyone. Every once in a while growing up, my dad would let us sit in front of the television while we ate dinner. That would be a special treat for my brother and me because Mom wasn't home from work yet. And she would let us
You
watch
shoot,
TV
not
during
kill.
the week.
Oh, you shot me, a-hole!
Sorry. I'm allowed to eat in front of the TV at least 3 days a week now. We were eating in front of the TV one night, and I wanted to have chips for dessert. Our dinner rules were always eat dinner and then get a little treat for dessert afterwards. And I wanted chips, everyone's favorite dessert. So my dad got the bag of chips, and normally my parents poured us bowls, but there wasn't much left, so he just gave me the whole bag and said, don't eat them all. He got 2 full parent points that day. It was going good so far, eating chips in front of the TV.
This is the height of luxury!
I looked down, and I ate all the chips. Dang it! What do? My dad gave me one rule. My parents are never going to trust me ever again. They're going to disown me. My life is over. I'm going to be living in a box on the side of the road, and I'll have to search trash cans for chips. I might as well pack my things and get a head start right now. I started to panic, and my little kid brain started racing to think of some sort of way to avoid punishment. A rat! A giant rat burst through the door, slapped the bag out of my hand, ate all the chips, and escaped out the window. And also stole an extra cookie on its way out. No, they wouldn't believe that. I don't think rats eat chips. Jax finished eating early and went into the backyard to play. So what I ended up doing was going, Jax, do you want some chips? And I gave him the empty bag. Then I went over to my dad and said, Dad, I have something to tell you. I'm sorry. Jax ate all the chips, and I went into my room and hid. I really don't think my brother got into any trouble because I didn't hear anything else about it, and my dad probably just threw the bag away. But since I never got caught or came clean, I've held this guilt about that whole situation ever since. There's layers to it. Not only did I lie to my dad and falsely accuse my brother, but on top of it all, I gave Jax an empty bag of chips. A perfect little regret cherry on the ice cream sundae of shame. And I really think that when my dad and brother watch this video, they'll be like, I don't remember this at all. Because I want to say it was 13 years ago, which makes me feeling guilty even more pointless and stupid because it doesn't even matter and no one cares and I'm the only one suffering from it. This is a pretty effective way to learn a lesson. I've never finished a bag of chips since that day. One time I was at recess in 2nd grade playing by myself in the grass. You know, like a frickin' loser. This group of girls came up to me and said, hey, we're playing tag and chasing the boys. You should help us. And I was like, Well, beats sitting here and getting eaten by ants, so I started running around and chasing the boys with the rest of the kids. It was all normal tag at first, but somehow it started escalating to extreme tag. Extreme as in people started throwing rocks. Being a self-conscious child who had no understanding of personal choices, I was like, oh, well, I guess we're doing this now. So I threw a rock and hit this kid in the back of the head, which, may I add, took some top-notch skill and coordination, considering we were both running and he was a good distance away from me. Not to brag or anything.
Locked on.
Ow! I'm telling. Oh, freak. I watched this kid start running off to tell a teacher, and I knew I had to think of something fast. And don't tell me I should have just stood there and faced the consequences of my actions. You know, as a kid, you wouldn't have done that. This only works if we're all honest with ourselves here. The first thing I could think of was to go hide in the bathroom, because everyone knows teachers can't burst into kids using bathroom stalls. That is definitely illegal and weird. I camped out in the girls' bathroom until I heard the recess whistle and went back to class. Obviously, the teacher was told what happened. I couldn't have run away from that, so I still got in trouble. But the guilt trip doesn't end there. The teacher told me I wasn't allowed to go to recess tomorrow, which is reasonable. I can own up to that punishment. But she also said I needed to write a letter to my parents telling them what I did. I don't know what pushed me to do this, because I always did what grown-ups said, but something in my head told me, you're not writing that letter. And so I didn't. Later that day, the teacher came up to me and asked, did you write the letter? Yes. Please don't ask to see it. Please don't ask to see it. Good. And so my parents never found out. Until right now. In this video. Please don't ground me, Mom and Dad. I don't know the statute of limitations on throwing rocks at little boys, but it's been 8 years. I think I'm safe. I'm not really guilty about this next story, but it's resonated within me.
There are so many choices for identity thieves on the dark web, but you can protect yourself with Experian. Get a completely free dark web scan to see if your identity is already.
Well, would you look at that? The first video I'm posting in 2017. In a year, we can look back at this video and say, we had no idea what we had coming. So another year has passed, which means we're all 1 year older, which means we're growing as people, which... this is a stretch. I didn't have a transition. As a youngster, I was prone to believing people pretty much unconditionally, as with most children. I just had too much trust for my own good. Like,
right here.
why would anyone have any reason to lie to me? The world is full of nothing but nice people and purity. Of course, I've grown out of that mentality, and I'm a lot more cautious. But for a while, people could just tell me things, and I just believed them. I got thinking about all the ridiculous things people put in my head that I stored as facts, and I decided to make a list of the craziest ones. And also just letting you know, I was like, I these stories. Don't worry, I didn't just find out these things aren't true like a couple months ago or anything. When I was in first grade, for some reason my mom told me
You do not!
poison.
Yes, I do!
I died.
Oh, it's awful!
Apparently,
Oh, you want to call me that? I'm filming.
Basically, if
No, you're not. I don't see the light. The camera's not even on.
With each other
Yeah, it
and
is.
create a little electric shock.
Okay,
But
let
all
me
I knew
see.
as a kid was
Not showing you.
contact
Okay,
with aluminum
so
foil.
yeah, you're not.
Death. And I was petrified. I didn't even have braces or anything metal in my mouth at the time, so nothing would have even happened if I tried.
Call me whatever you want.
Going to school the next day,
I am
and
filming.
Did you know that if you bite aluminum foil, you'll die? And she goes, I think I've been foiled before. And I was like,
And I'm posting this all over YouTube, Dylan.
grasshoppers?
I'm
They're
posting this on
absolute
YouTube.
machines. This one
I
probably
don't
just
give a
wouldn't do.
crap.
I was at recess with some friends, and we were running around in the grass without our shoes on. When we went back to put them on, there was a little grasshopper sitting at the bottom of my right shoe. Guys, look! A cute little grasshopper is wearing my shoe. And one of my friends goes, oh my god, grasshoppers spit acid! Get it out! And then we all start panicking at the fact there was a death grasshopper in my shoe. I looked up, I shouldn't have thought that, and it actually is a fact that grasshoppers can spit a brown liquid to protect themselves from predators. It's called tobacco juice, and even though it's slightly acidic, the worst it really can do is stain your clothes. It's pretty much harmless. But oh, dude, no. I had the image in my head of some Breaking Bad, the hydrofluoric acid, dissolve through everything it touches kind of meme. Also, just saying, I didn't mean the drug acid, even though that could be equally terrifying. Speaking of staining clothes, I was at lunch one day with the rest of my class, and one boy took out a
Give
bag
me
of
my gun
pomegranate
back.
seeds his mom packed for him in his lunch.
Give
All
me
I
my
hadn't
gun
seen it
back.
before because it's a bit of an exotic
And
fruit, so I
why?
asked him a
Give
question
my
about
gun
it, and
back.
a bunch of questions about him. And I
Yes.
said, did you know